All right. So, what is up, Grid Soul fam? So, we are going to be building out the sound of Blade Runner today. So, today I'm going to be challenging myself to rebuild the legendary Blade Runner pad in Reactor. If you haven't listened to it, I'm sure you can listen to it on YouTube. I don't want to get a copyright strike, so I'm not gonna play it this time. But we're gonna build it from scratch in just under 10 minutes. So no presets, no samples, just modular thinking, and let's get right into it. So I'm gonna start off, open up my version of Reactor as a plugin, and I wish I could play the original for you, but I'm not gonna play it right now. But we're gonna try our best to reinterpret the sound, that deep emotional texture, lush, detuned, with that slow attack. Let's try to capture that vibe with synthesis inside Reactor. So let's start off with our patch building. We're going to open up Reactor here, and we have a blank ensemble we're going to be using, and that we're going to use that to load in our patches. I've already started off with some blocks that I'm going to use. I got 2 to 3 waveforms, 2 to 3 oscillators waiting for me to use. I'm going to organize them in my workflow, so I can use them. Today we're using Reactor. My platform of choice. I do think it sounds a little bit better than VCV Rack, so that's why I tend to lean towards Reactor more. It sounds more pure, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, but it sounds more realistic to me than VCV Rack's more digital tone. But it's a preference thing. But I like the more analog soundingness of this plugin. So let's dive right in. I'm going to hook up my oscillators. Let's do... Not going to do it like that. We're going to send them all out. And we're going to mix them together. So there we go. We got 3 different channels. Let's filter it. Oh, they're gonna be overlapping here, so we want to, let's do a filter for each one, and then a left and right out. The reason for that is because I want to create the ability to have control over the filter for each sound. So that works out in my best interest to allow me to preserve the characteristics of that oscillator in the sound I'm building. So we're going to go right there. We've got 3 filters lined up. Let's just chunk them together. Bring them down. We'll use filter 1, filter 2, and the third filter here. Then I'm going to send them to the mix. And let's bring in our gate control from the last knob here. So the gate looks like that. And we're going into our VCA. I'm going to use a VCA that has a left and right input. And this will just allow me to really send the sound like that. There we go. And let's hear what we got. Our basic sound. So I need to organize the panel a little bit. I can do that after, but we need to hear what it sounds like, because that's what we came for, to listen to the synth or modular rack. Let's see, in our modular environment. So let's bring this here, and let's turn our envelope up. And we have a basic sound. That's great. So congratulations on creating your first sound in Reactor. Let's just test if they're all working individually. from each channel. So why is it sending full volume though? There should be no volume, but Ah, okay. I see why. There we go. Individually connected. So that is working. But they don't individually have their own envelopes. So I can fix that. Let's see. There we go. Now it has... Yeah, no, okay. That did work. So I want them to each have their own envelope control. So let's see. Each one. So I'm actually going to give each one its own node in control. So duplicate that. So it's really going to be like I'm creating 3 different oscillators and then blending their sounds together as much or as little as I please or as I want. And let's reconnect that. Then they'll go through each go through their own filter. And finally, they'll go through their own envelope and out to our VCA. So let's see that that's working correctly. Yeah, this is our third sound. You can see that it's going rising and falling as I'm pressing a key on my key input on my keyboard. That's what I want for all of the sounds. So we're going to simply repeat that process 3 times. So the filter will go into... Let's remove that filter. Let's duplicate our envelope. This is number 2. Number 3. Oh, whoops. This is actually number 2. And duplicate it again. We're going to get another envelope. Number 1. Oops. And we're going to connect this envelope to our first node in. And there we go. Okay. So hopefully that was a little bit more straightforward than it looked. Okay. Actually, I messed it up a little bit, but that's okay. So let's do another way. Let's grab another mix. So sometimes that happens when you're building. You gotta work around your situation. Okay. Send that out through a filter. Actually change my build structure a little bit. That's okay. Let's just make sure that it's working. So we got to turn our volumes up. And Oh yes, we need an envelope control. So we'll bring an envelope in. Looks like we're gonna have to connect the gate connection to one oscillator. So it's connected to one. But I want all three. So the problem is I want all three oscillators to play. So let's connect this to number 1 gate. And we'll put these all back into the same note in. So they play in unison. So right now they're all three should be playing. And the way we can test that, then we can see if we can hook this up. Let's see. Because that only goes to one connection. So we can do a filter after that. And let's just see if we're playing all three oscillators. By turning down the volume of the other ones. That's 1. That's 2. And number 3. So yes, we have all 3 oscillators. There's multiple ways you could do the same thing. Let's test our filter. Our filter is working. So now we can modulate our sound and modify it. So I'm going to choose a saw wave. So we're going to bring in our saw wave. You're going to choose a saw. Yep. And a second saw. And a third saw. Slightly detuned. Okay. Turn up our volume so you can hear it. That's sounding pretty cool already. So we're going to keep going with this and just carve out a little more. So we added our envelope. We can now take our envelope and we're going to use that envelope to carve our sound. So let's do a slow attack. Let's save our sound before we exit the module. I'm just going to do a quick save as. So we saved our sound just so we can exit. And I'm going to add some reverb. Going to go into Ableton. Let's use a send. And we're going to go to reactor. We're going to send. We're going to put the send at full volume. Okay, so let's modulate that filter cutoff. So that means basically I'm going to add some movement to our filter. If we're going to a filter module, or not a filter module, I'm going to bring in a LFO module. We're going to add some movement to our filter. So let's add some movement. And you're not hearing it yet because we need to turn up the modulation depth of this on the sound. So you can see that little flickering. That's the LFO moving right here. You can see it moving right here, flickering back and forth. And its input signal is being sent to this you could call it a modulation port of the filter, which it is. So this is modulation port A. This is modulation port B. So we have 2 inputs on our filter. And anything that has a modulation port of A and B it has 2 modulation ports that you can use at a time. So that leads to multiple possibilities of having multiple different outcomes and using multiple different effects at the same time. So it can get really complex. Okay. I want to add a little chorus to our sound. So we're going to go into our audio effects. Our audio effects look like this with the 3 lines. Let's add some chorus ensemble. Okay, that makes you feel a little bit dizzy. I'm going to turn that down. I'm going to turn down the modulation because I actually like the chorus ensemble. Here's it without it. Here's it with it. I can use the LFO here as well. Which is the classic sound. I want it to sound a little, what's the word, like hairy. So I'm going to add some distortion to it to finish off our sound. Add in some distortion. Let's go with the distortion. So some driver. And let's tag that on to our effects as an effect. Go back into Reactor. Okay, we thickened it up just a little bit with a little tweak to our distortion. Okay. There we go. We got something that sounds similar to our sound we're going for, the sound of Blade Runner. I know that was over 10 minutes, but I was experimenting. So, what we got a few minutes later, a reactor-born Blade Runner pad sound. I'm going to capture our sound. And we're going to go ahead and save our patch. Hit the save button. And there we go. And this is the kind of modular synthesis and sound design I love for turning emotion into energy. If you're new here, this is Grid Soul, where we build worlds in sound. Drop your next. We'll let me know what you'd like to see next by dropping a comment below. And I'll see you in the next live stream. But I'm going to continue here just for a few minutes, and we're going to create a little loop out of this. So feel free to stick around. So I'm going to go ahead and put this to the grid. Okay, we're going to start that loop over right here. Let's put it on the markers so we can keep track. Okay, well, it's looping, so that's great. So let's add a little drum track. Let's add a drum track to it, or a beat. We call it that, and I'm gonna choose a kit. Okay, and we're gonna add it in. I probably want this about 3 or 4 times because I know I want my snare to be on a separate track. Gonna go in, zoom in, and fill in the tiles for my sections. There we go. Let's make these each a different color, just for identification purposes. Okay, so we're gonna assign that track color. This is like a little bit tedious sometimes, or not. You think it might not be necessary, but it becomes necessary a little bit later in the process when you need to know or recall what you did. It's really important. So we're gonna keep going, and let's add in some parts. Gonna turn down the volumes slightly. So we're gonna go in, choose all the tracks, open them all up, bring the volume down just to like a little bit more ear-friendly volume. And then we can go ahead and start coloring it in. So I'm going to choose a 4-bar section. Actually, let's do them all the same. Then you can just grab these, pull them back in sequence, zoom in, and we got 2 bars. Okay, so it's not 4 bars, 2 bars. So that's the second bar. Bar 2. Go like that, and that's our bar 2. So let's see. Let's loop this. I don't like that kit. So let's do a hot swap. And you can hot swap by doing this, or just because I forgot the key command, just Q. So hold down, hit that Q button, and erase what you have in your search and do a hot swap. I know I want a snare. These aren't heavy hitting enough for me. So, no. Let me see if I can grab something else. Just waiting for my packs to load in here. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened to live. We lost it. Yes, we want to recover that because we worked on it. So I did save my sound before I left the session, so all should be good. But I didn't save my actual loop. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so I see the sound, but I don't see the actual, like nothing's inside of our actual reactor patch. But that is all right because we're going to go ahead and we're going to save once we add our sound back, because we did save it earlier. Remember that? Just saving early and saving often is so important when you're working on projects. Yeah, because anything could happen. So we're going to do that, and we should get it back. There we go. Okay, so let's add in our drums. Okay, these are not loading properly. Let's see. Ah, yes. Okay, we got it. Let's get a little bit of a swing groove going. Where is that? Oh. So we got that at 3. So we're going to match it up. Let's see. I'm liking that. Just grab some sample that I had laying around. Let's see. Okay, let's see what key this is in. We're going to match up the keys pretty quickly. Let's do a copy. Paste them in. Check my key. Just make sure I'm on the right instrument. It says F sharp minor, so, but I'm getting a different reading. Getting major. Okay, it says these are the keys detected, so detected, click one to select it. So it's saying that the most matches F sharp major, and then it's like going down the list. Actually, the majority is actually F sharp minor, so it's showing that. Yeah, majority is F sharp minor. So let's keep going. Let's change this to F sharp minor. I'm gonna have to convert this to audio. So let's do a capture. Gonna capture our audio right there, and we're gonna sample from our track 38. into this track. Oops. Okay, I'm going to try to quantize that, but let's continue from where we are and go into the audio pitch. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, let's loop this. Okay, this turns into a completely different beat. Okay. So we're going to choose so like this. Get a straight loop idea. And we can redo this part. going to duplicate this 3 times so I can play it over. Let's do it again. We're going to do a little punch in. Try again. Okay, we're going to take off the overdub and do it again without it. Okay, let's test it out from the beginning. Let's see our whole loop. So now I'm just using it creatively. Not trying to recreate the Blade Runner itself. Alright, so just like that, we've created something new from scratch. Using our sound design skills, sound design concepts, to create something from scratch that's completely new, completely original, based off that theme, but not off that sound. So hopefully you enjoyed the session and you learned something about sound design. I sure did. Stay tuned for future episodes. I do these streams nightly, and I'll see you in the next live stream. Peace out. Okay.